Hello everyone, this is Gene. I'm back with another video. I know it's been a few days. I think it's been about 11 days, more around 2 weeks since I made a video. Um, life has been, life has been kicking my butt sideways. It's like suddenly my life got bumped up to like extreme mode and I'm still don't quite know why. I didn't ask for this. It's like the first 3 months of the year have just been dedicated to just testing me on every level, and I'm a bit tired of it, to be honest with you. To sort of summarize without giving too much away, because I don't often talk about my personal life, but I keep having to deal with the fallout of other people's decisions, and that's very frustrating when their decisions negatively impact me, or I have to get involved, or I have to um, what's the word I'm looking for? Pick up the pieces, right? It's very frustrating when people do things that don't help themselves and at worst negatively impact your own life, and regardless of how often you try to stay out of it, you get dragged back in. Or you get dragged in because if you don't address it, nobody will. So yeah, that's been like the first 3 months of this year. What a wonderful 2022. It's a very good thing that I'm on a personal challenge to not consume alcohol this year, because I think if I wasn't, I would have been passed out drunk a few times already. But anyway, enough of my grousing. I wanted to address this that I heard literally just a few hours ago. I've seen a few people make videos on it. I just thought I'd make my own quick think piece about G4 now rebranding itself as XPlay. As you can see, this is their YouTube channel, and they have now got the XPlay logo in some of the videos. As you can see, they have Bearded Man here. What's this one? You see Frost in the thumbnail with this one, and you see Adam Sessler. So this seems to be their main channel. Here's their Twitter account. As you can see, right next to the Twitter account, they have the. Oh, maybe you can't see it. Sorry, I don't. Let me see here. Because it looks fine on my screen, but it might be getting cut off on here, unfortunately. But anyway, if you could see the full Twitter, you would see that it has the little G4 logo next to it. So this is indeed the rebrand of the channel. They're now going with XPlay as opposed to G4. For those who may not quite know the difference, there's not a major difference, but G4 back in the day was the name of the channel, right? Uh, that aired all this material, and the name of a show on the channel was XPlay. So XPlay was a show. It was hosted, at least back when I was watching it, it was hosted by Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb, and the show was on the channel G4. They also had another popular show called Attack of the Show, and those hosts were Kevin Pereira and most famously Olivia Munn. Perhaps if this rebrand doesn't work, maybe they'll try calling it Attack of the Show after this. But here's the thing, and here's the part that I want to get to. I don't really think that this rebrand is going to help them in any way. The thing about a rebrand is that, especially in this case, I think it's done to try to distance themselves from drama, from negative drama. Excuse me. And I can certainly understand. I can certainly understand them wanting to distance themselves from drama, right? Frost, Screed, right? Her list of complaints about how the audience, or how she believes the audience perceives her, and her screed about sexism in gaming, despite not once mentioning any actual real incidents of sexism in gaming, and more of just making it all about her, didn't exactly help with their public image. And neither does Adam Sessler's vile, disgusting tweets, right? Those don't help either. So I can certainly understand why they would want to rebrand. Here's the problem, though. Number one, this is the internet, right? The past does not fade away the way it did in the years and decades prior to the internet, right? The internet, if there's one thing that the internet is good at doing, for all of its issues, the one thing it is great at doing is preserving things, even things that you think have been buried or things you think have been deleted. We see this often with tweets, right? The past does not fade away as quickly as it once did. People do not forget as quickly as they once did, which means that living down something, especially something negative, is much more difficult to do because the internet is forever, as people say. And plus, the drama with Sessler's tweets and with Frost and her tweets and her screed, her rant, are not old. They're not stuff that happened 5 or 10 years ago that people are bringing up now. This happened just a few months ago. I myself made a video about it, and many people made videos about it, and then many people kept making videos about it, even though many channels were saying that they didn't want to give Frost any more attention, and then turned around and started making video after video after video about what she said or did on Twitter. I personally didn't really follow past that because I said what I had to say, and I'm not all that interested in Froskin or whatever the heck her name is supposed to be. Nor am I all that interested in Sessler. But just because when you float around certain circles, you see certain things. I'm well aware of the fact that neither one of them have taken social media lessons, let's say, about how to not make offensive or incendiary tweets, especially at people that they deem the bad guy. For example, Sessler loves to lash out senselessly at Republicans, telling them to drink piss and all sorts of disgusting, vile things that just make no sense. And of course, Frost just loves to just stir the pot and then try to play innocent. I personally don't have time for online drama, especially from two incredibly immature humans, when I've got too much real life drama to deal with. But anyhow, on top of that, right, that little rant aside, on top of all that, with the internet being forever and people not forgetting things and just anything you say or do, especially negative, becomes a lot more difficult to live down. Another issue, right? Another issue, and this is probably the core issue that I wanted to get to. Rebrands, most of the time, don't actually change the core element of something, right? It's just a name change. It's just a banner change, as we see here up top. But the fundamental issues, mainly Frost and Sessler, don't change, right? Think of it like the rebrand of the Washington Redskins, right? Yeah, they got rid of the offensive logo and the offensive name and gave them a new name, but the Washington Redskins are still a football team. Or you think about the rebranding of Aunt Jemima, right? Now it's the Pearl Milling Company or something. Yes, you changed the image. You changed the image. Very controversial change that I and many others wasn't for. You changed the image, but in the end, it's still pancake batter, right? It's still quick mix pancake batter. What's inside doesn't change. Or let's take a film like Birds of Prey, right? The original name of the Birds of Prey film was if I remember correctly, was Birds of Prey and the Emancipation of one fantabulous Harley Quinn, right? Or something to that effect. Then about a week or 2 weeks before the movie was supposed to hit theaters back in, what was it, late February of 2020, they changed the name of the film to Birds of Prey, right? They shortened the name. They cut out the fantabulous Harley Quinn part in the title. Did that change the fact that it was a Harley Quinn movie? That it was a Harley Quinn vehicle? That wasn't actually about the comic books of Prey? Birds of Prey? No, it didn't change that. It didn't change the, in my opinion, gross characterization and misrepresentation of characters like Huntress and Cassie Kane. Right? The name change didn't change or address any of the issues I had with that movie or with the creative direction that it took and how it deviated from the comics. So, name change or not, I wasn't going to watch it because the content for me was quite frankly repulsive. And I think the same idea, generally speaking, applies here when it comes to XPlay. Right? You can rebrand and use the XPlay logo and the XPlay name all you want. If you're not going to address the core issues that make your show, that make your channel uh, distasteful to the audience you're trying to court, if you're not going to address the people and the viewpoints and all this other stuff, the let's say public persona, like what they put out there. Because remember, Frost uses Twitter, Sessler uses Twitter, and they use this while also putting in their Twitters that they are working or employed by G4, right? So when you're employed by a company, you are a representative of them, whether you feel that way or not, or whether your official job title says you are a representative or not. When you work at a place, you represent that place, regardless of what your job title says or doesn't say. So they will openly promote the fact that they are employed by G4, that they are representatives of G4, and then they will say and do things that can be perceived by many as harming the G4 slash XPlay slash Attack of the Show or whatever else brand. If you're not going to address their behavior, if you're not going to address what they publicly put out there under your banner, under your name, while being employed by you, whether they're formal employees or whether it's a contract thing or however it works, they're working for G4, whatever the actual employment situation is, right? How they're employed there isn't relevant. The fact of the matter is that they work there, and they're representatives of that company. And if they don't address how Sessler and Frost and the other hosts, to be fair, but especially Sessler and Frost, because they're the two faces that get the most attention because of their hot take tweets. If you're not going to address how they present themselves and how they represent G4, if you're not going to address their vitriolic relationship with the audience that you want to watch your videos and to buy your merch and to engage with your channel so that you can, revive it. This was supposed to be a revival or something from what I was hearing. And apparently they're now doing a restructuring or some shows are being canceled. I don't know and I don't particularly care. What I do know is this, as an ambulance passes by the window, is that if you don't address the things that push people away, if you don't address the people and their public behavior that make people not want to watch G4 or XPlay or Attack of the Show or anything else, and if everything you put out there pushes your audience away instead of pulling them in, you're doing business wrong. And when you do business wrong, you lose business. And when you lose business, sooner or later, whether it's a physical location or increasingly a sort of e-location, a YouTube channel, a Twitter account, social media, whatever it is, right? Sooner or later, you end up closing shop. Sooner or later, you end up closing shop. And that, in my opinion, is the direction they are headed toward if they don't address these issues. It may come slow, it may not come immediately, but sooner or later, you keep pushing people away, you keep pushing your means of getting funds and getting attention and sticking around away, well, you're going to end up closing shop. And that goes for any medium of entertainment, whether it's people who make movies or people who make TV shows, video games, comics, anything else. The death may not come quickly, but it will come. If you keep pushing your audience away by allowing your employees to be vitriolic toward the audience. Because there is, how do I put it? There is a way to be controversial and that gets attention, that makes people want to watch, right? As Eric Bischoff would say, controversy creates cash. But this is not a sexy controversy, right? This isn't a controversy that draws people in and makes them go, ooh, I want to see that. Ooh, I want to hear more. Ooh. It doesn't do that. It makes people go, oh, well, if that's the way Sessler acts in public, who imagine when he acts like in private. I don't want to watch that. If Frost is just going to spend minutes on end complaining about how she's not bangable when compared to other hosts, well, I'm not here for that. I'm not here for some blonde harpy to whine about her insecurity issues, right? I'm here for Elden Ring, or I'm here for GoldenEye, or I'm here for Gran Turismo, or whatever else. Right? If you keep doing things that make people go, ugh, I don't want to deal with that, well, you will reap what you sow. And if you sow stuff that won't grow, well, you end up with a dead crop. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day and night wherever you are. Bye.